I rise today on behalf of the people of my riding that I love so much, Scarborough, Guildwood, and the communities across Ontario who are outraged by Bill 5, a reckless bill that guts environmental protections, centralizes power, and eliminates government accountability. And I must tell you, my Consett office received hundreds of emails on this Bill 5. Madam Speaker, this isn't about unleashing Ontario's economy. It's about unleashing unchecked political power. And in Scarborough, we know exactly what's at stake: the Rouge National Urban Park and the Toronto Zoo. Rouge Park isn't just a local treasure. It's Canada's first national urban park, home to over 17,000 species, including nearly 30 at-risk species. It's a living classroom, a protected ecosystem, a piece of reconciliation work done in partnership with First Nations communities, and it's now the chopping block on the Bill 5. When you got the Endangered Species Act, when you rewrite what habitat means, when you let developers self-register their projects before environmental review, you don't just threaten the ecosystem, you threatened real places, real species, and real people. Madam Speaker, we also have the Toronto Zoo. It's beautiful. I would say it's the centre of Ontario. This zoo sits beside the Rouge Park, and it's not just a zoo, it's an internationally respected centre for conservation, education and research. But their work will become meaningless, Madam Speaker, if the habitats surrounding it are stripped of legal protection, if wildlife corridors are cut off, and if laws designed to protect biodiversity are thrown out for the sake of streamlining. Madam Speaker, this bill, if passed, could undo decades of conservation efforts and threaten some of Ontarians' most vulnerable species. The Toronto Zoo has warned that Bill 5 could drive species into extinction. One of them is the balding turtle. It threatens species that nest, feeds, and hibernates right in Rouge National Urban Park. More than 700 of these turtles have been released by the zoo into Rouge in partnership with Parks Canada. But this government planned to narrow the definition of habitat and remove science-based recovery strategies, which would sadly wipe out the areas that these turtles need to survive. Madam Speaker, when the zoo has to ask for an insurance policy to preserve the genetic material of animals at risk from Ontario laws, that should be a wake-up call for this government. Let me be clear, Madam Speaker, we are not against economic development. That's not why I'm standing speaking today. We support good jobs in Ontario, clean energy, responsible mining and public infrastructure. But that must come with accountability, public input and respect for the environment and Indigenous rights, and that is not what this bill offers. Madam Speaker, the government has a pattern: push through legislation quickly, like wildfire, name it something nice, and hope no one notices the damage until it's way too late. Madam Speaker, I find it very disappointing that this government is still pushing through Bill 5. Let's stand up for the parks, let's stand up for our ecosystems, and let's stand up for the voice of Ontarians. Thank you.
Further debate?